Protests erupted across the Middle East, Asia, Europe, and the United States, both in support of Palestinians and in solidarity with Israel following Hamas attacks. Demonstrations in Germany and France were banned due to security concerns, while some Western countries increased security around synagogues and Jewish schools. Hamas called for Palestinians to protest Israel's bombardment of Gaza. Major cities in the U.S. reinforced police presence in both Jewish and Muslim neighborhoods. Iraq, Iran, and Lebanon witnessed massive anti-Israel rallies, while protesters gathered in Indonesia, Bangladesh, Japan, Sri Lanka, Bulgaria, Yemen, Cape Town, India's Kashmir, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Egypt. Jewish communities held vigils in various countries. Russian President Vladimir Putin has expressed the importance of Palestinian-Israeli negotiations aimed at creating an independent Palestinian state with its capital in East Jerusalem. He emphasizes the UN's two-state formula as the key to resolving the conflict and ensuring the coexistence of an independent Palestine and Israel in peace and security. Putin acknowledges Israel's right to self-defense but underscores the need for a peaceful resolution. Previously, Putin linked Israel's settlement policy to regional tensions, highlighting the perceived injustice of the Palestinian problem. Meanwhile, the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas continues to escalate. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin met with Israeli officials to discuss defense needs. Saturday's annular solar eclipse will impact Earth's weather as the moon passes in front of the sun, affecting temperature, wind speed, and humidity. The eclipse will block up to 90% of the sun's light, altering weather conditions akin to shaded areas feeling cooler on a hot day. Annular eclipses allow more solar radiation to reach Earth compared to total eclipses. Though temperature drops won't be drastic, areas in the eclipse path may experience a slight dip in temperatures and altered wind, humidity, and cloud cover. Israeli forces reportedly targeted Palestinian medical services and civil defense crews during a rescue operation in northern Gaza. The strike occurred at the Dahman family's house as civil defense crews and medics were attempting to rescue the injured and martyrs. The extent of casualties resulting from the attack remains uncertain. Meanwhile, Israel has urged the relocation of 1 million people in northern Gaza to southern areas, anticipating a ground assault, despite concerns from the UN about worsening the humanitarian crisis. A Reuters videographer was killed and 6 journalists were injured near Lebanon's border with Israel as missiles struck the area, including journalists from Al Jazeera and Agence France Presse. Lebanese Prime Minister and Hezbollah blamed Israel for the incident. Israel's UN envoy stated that they would investigate the incident and stressed their aim to avoid civilian casualties. The clash occurred amid heightened tensions between Israel and Palestinian militia Hamas. UN peacekeeping unit UNIFIL called for an end to the firing to prevent further escalation. The U.S. National Security Council revealed suspected arms transfers between North Korea and Russia, potentially including fighter aircraft and ballistic missile equipment. Satellite imagery displayed containers in Najin, North Korea, transported to a Russian ammunition depot near Ukraine's border. The U.S. aims to halt clandestine support for Russia-US war efforts, highlighting North Korea-US alleged breach of UN Security Council resolutions. Amid Russia's continued offensive in Ukraine, the U.S. emphasizes the urgency of Congress approving new funding for Ukraine. Israel has called for over 1 million citizens to evacuate the northern Gaza Strip, potentially signaling an escalation in the conflict with Hamas. The United Nations and global aid groups deem the directive unworkable and unlawful, urging Israel to rescind it. Amid fears of a ground invasion, both sides brace for heightened tensions. International condemnation is mounting against the dire humanitarian situation and the toll on civilians. President Biden emphasizes alleviating Gaza's crisis as a priority. Regional protests reflect widespread outrage over the ongoing violence. The EU emphasizes adherence to international humanitarian law while urging an end to violence.